Hey everyone, it's Jamie from IndependenceStTarot and Seasons and Ritual, and this is another episode of What Are We Talking About Today? And today we're going to be talking about AI. And this is something that I really haven't thought about a little bit. It keeps coming up, and it's around. But I've noticed like it's coming up a lot. So I did a little research, not a lot, honestly, but I did a little research on YouTube. And what was interesting is that I couldn't find that much about it in America besides just like normal stuff people are talking about, like ChatGPT and making sure people don't use it for school papers and all that stuff, or like funny stories when people have used it and it was a complete disaster. I've got it. So a couple of things happen. So I found some articles on or I found a couple interviews at Australian Sky News, and you guys can Google it or look it up on YouTube. Australian Sky News AI. They had lots of good interviews with people about it. And the first thing I want to say is this: I am not scared of it. I think it needs to be respected, and I do think there needs to be regulations, which we'll get to. At the same time, it's a very interesting, the story that they're putting on us with this, and I'm going to get to that too. So first and foremost, I was watching this interview where someone who worked for Zoogle, with Lugal, they're now fired. I don't know how they go through these and scan these, but whatever. I don't want to get flagged by YouTube, but anyway, so they were talking to this person that used to work there, and he was helping develop all this, and he was saying, we did this and we did that, and we are going to face this, and we are going to face. And I was like, well, like, pump the brakes, man, like pump the brakes. And it was a man. I was like, I don't like how you're throwing out this royal we stuff, okay? Because I didn't ask to be taken over by freaking robots, okay? Like so I find it really interesting how they keep thinking like we and us, and I'm like, no, you and your people, and they're doing this for a lot of reasons, and until we are in 100% altruistic society, we're going to have to just admit to the fact that we need regulations, and that most of this shit's coming up because people can make money off of it, okay? And it's nothing to be like sad about, but we just need to know this, okay? Like, what's the long game with these people? What's the end game? And it's not, again, to be suspicious, but again, until we're 100% altruistic, I feel like I'm a pretty normal person and helpful, right? At the same time, I know there's lots of people that aren't, and there's lots of people that lie and just steal and cheat and all that stuff. Does that make me scared to go outside? No, because I trust my senses, okay? And you win some, you lose some. Gotta know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run, all that stuff. But I digress. So back to this. So anyway, the super smart guy was going on and on about the AI and all this stuff, and how we did this and we did that. And I was like, hold up, buddy. You and people that think they can profit off this, right? And also, this is to be maybe a lesson to people that are like me and super altruistic and are like way smarter than I am. Like, know what you're entering into, right? Like, let's look at the big picture. Let's zoom out and look at the big picture. But he was saying that, this AI is getting smarter and smarter and smarter, and that it's already, I can't remember the numbers he used for the IQ, was already at this point, and then it's going to get to this point and this point. And then I was thinking like, well, what good is that going to do us if we have the world's smartest robots, right? Like, if it can't communicate to like normal people, like, does it matter if you're that smart? And I'm just thinking about like other people who are super smart but they can't communicate what they're getting across because the majority on the bell curve are like, what? You know what I mean? So that was the first thing I was thinking about. So I was like, all right, great. So it just keeps getting smarter and smarter and smarter. Okay. So then, and I didn't really think too much more about it. I went to bed, and then a couple days ago, I went for a walk because I'm starting to go for my walks again. Now that the old tummy's healing. So, and then I was thinking about it again, just like kind of about this AI stuff. And I was like, well, here's what's interesting, right? They keep wanting us, and I'm using us as just like normal people, right? In that bell curve, like most of us. Okay. Pretty norms. In our friend group, there's some that are super excel and there's some that aren't, right? But for most of us, we still all have kind of like the same values and raised the same way, that kind of stuff. So like most of us. But I was thinking like, well, the thing is they want us to be extremely scared of it because then we'll be quote unquote slaves to it. And I thought that was really interesting because then I started thinking like, well, if this AI is like smarter than everyone, can't I just ask it then? Like, what's the best way to make the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time? And then it's going to tell me. Or can I ask it, okay, how can I set up my life to get free energy? What can I do? What can I do in order to get free energy? So then I don't have to pay the energy people anymore? Or, okay, if I wanted to lose, 30 pounds and the computer knows all of this stuff about me, so how can I do that like efficiently? Or what is the best supplement or plant I could take in order to heal so and so? So I was thinking like, wait a minute. If this is like the smartest thing on the planet, isn't it going to help me more and maybe not the elites, because then we can just bypass them, right? Like we can go around all their stories, or like we will really know if something's organic or not, or if this company is actually polluting all the water, or this other company is lying, or oh, here's how we can get free energy so we don't have to pay the electric company. And or like if the things that are causing disease and discomfort, like what if it just gives us a meditation to do like for so many days, and then it heals us, because our minds are extremely malleable. So I started thinking like, oh, well, wait a minute. And this isn't me saying like, okay, first, again, I'm going to repeat this. I do think we need regulation. Okay. At the same time, who is creating this AI and what's behind it? At the same time, are they going to be able to control it and to stop it? Right. And I don't, and I will, unless something happens in the next whatever, but listen, it doesn't have a soul. AI does not have a soul. It's not like a human. Okay. Or animals. Okay. I don't believe AI has a soul. I do believe it needs to be regulated. At the same time, I want us to start thinking about, well, what if this is coming in to actually help us in other ways, right? So we don't have to have credit cards, or it shows us how to, the best way to, finance things, or get in touch with people that saves the planet, that it was all these other things that goes more down like this altruistic way, that went down to this idea like getting more control back and like sidestepping the 1%. So I think it's very interesting. Just keep your eyes on this, and think about it differently. So when they start saying the rise of the robots, and they're going to enslave us, and the reason that scares us when we first hear that is because we already feel enslaved. We already feel like, we're being oppressed, right? We already feel like, well, whatever we do, it's going to go to the 1% or whatever, right? And so it's really interesting then to see this idea of this technology coming in to help us rise above or go around these things that have what we see as oppression or that we have to answer to, that we like, what is the best way to peace? What if that helps us with that? What if it helps us with like, oh, okay, well, we know we can't fly these mini airplanes on these days because we've got to watch carbon emissions, and so we're able to do that, right? And it's not just about writing term papers, right? Like, when you think about all the things that it could do and how it could help us and what it can circumvent, it's pretty amazing. And it is very hopeful, and it is, of course, if this is coming from a loving, again, I can't keep using this word, altruistic way, right? At that being said, I do believe there needs to be regulations. I do believe like it needs to we just can't unleash it on the world, but it would be fucking hilarious if it was unleashed on the world and then it just helped everyday citizens be cool and get on with their lives, and it ushered in peace. That would be kind of funny. And don't worry, you guys, those billionaires they're just gonna have their yachts and stuff. They're fine. They'll just go be billionaires on Mars or whatever. Because that's the other thing. What if the AI bot tells us, the secret to happiness, and we're just all like, oh, what? We don't have to be on social media? What? So anyway, I think it could rip through the veil about a lot of things, quite honestly. And then what are they going to say, right? And then again, where are we going to be, because we believe those things for so long, right? So just some things to think about when it comes to AI. I know it's kind of in the news just a little bit, not a lot, but I know they're up in Capitol Hill, up in Washington, because they're trying to think of how to regulate it. And be very wary of what comes out of people's mouths that do have a lot vested in this. And a lot of these times, these people who have companies that acquire companies and then change the name of the company to just a letter, they can be very good talkers, and they can be, narcissists rule the world for a reason, right? Usually because they know exactly what to say to make people feel good. So just take all of that with a grain of salt when people are saying things that really have everything to gain with it going live, at the same time acting like, oh, we got to be real careful about this, because the reality of it is, if it does bust loose and it is super altruistic, right, a lot of those people are not going to be in business anymore, and so they have other motives, right? And again, this isn't to scare us. This is to like let you can think about this shit constructively. You can have other ideas about it, or you cannot think about it at all. Like, it's a beautiful day today. It's so nice today. I mean, it's so nice today. So anyway, if you guys have any thoughts and all that stuff, post them below. I'll be more than happy to answer, to get a little chit chat about this. But I just wanted to come on and talk about this a little bit. It's just, I'm kind of in the point of my life now where, like, when these things come up, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Weekend. It is the new moon today. And then tomorrow, Mercury, it comes out of its retrograde. So listen, there's going to be so much more. I can already see people are starting to speak up and say a bunch of things on all sorts of topics. So when Mercury goes direct, everything's going to be on full blast. So, ooh, let's get ready. Let's get ready for this next adventure. Okay, until then.